Hey there, and welcome to Tucker's Test Kitchen. There's no time to make a food-related, edgy social commentary. It's Thanksgiving morning, and I'm supposed to go to this potluck dinner thing later today. And last night, I didn't cook anything. And so I woke up this morning like, oh no. And now I have to figure out what to cook, and fast. Okay, don't panic. The internet is ripe with quick cooking ideas, right? All right, let's see here. What am I reading? What is this? Oh my God, it's for a wedge salad? Excuse me? I do not care about your life story. What is it with these self-proclaimed Epicureans waxing poetic about how this quiche recipe changed their lives? Oh, you're a single mother, and this is the easiest one-pot pasta dish you definitely didn't steal from Rachel Ray? That's a cute story worthy of one, maybe two sentences. Not a whole novel before the recipe that my poor little iPad struggles to render. Look, I get it. I'm technically a content creator too, and I like to see my ad revenue pile up as much as the next guy. And the only way to do it is to stretch your content and put ads wherever you can. I'm already half a page into my script and I haven't even gotten to the meat and potatoes of this video. I'm a child of the internet. I'm interested in everything all the time, and I'm not going to stand here and tell you that the way things used to be done is better, because by almost any measurable metric, that's just not the case. But I do enjoy the simplicity and clutterlessness of cookbooks. Some are better than others, but one of my favorite standards is the Boston Cooking School Cookbook by Merritt Farmer. We've talked about Fannie Farmer before on this channel. I read her savage remarks on the precision and skill required to bake a cake. Savage. But what does she know? She might be fake, just like Betty Crocker, so... Fannie Farmer is far from that hack Betty Crocker, starting with the fact that she existed. According to her shamefully short Wikipedia article, Fannie Farmer was born in Boston in 1857 and had a stroke at the age of 16. She didn't go to college, but she taught herself how to cook and eventually became the principal of the Boston Cooking School. During her 30s, she became an advocate for the dietary needs of the sick and the elderly, not only nutritionally, but also with regards to presentation. She wrote a book called the Boston Cooking School Cookbook in 1986, which is usually referred to as the Fannie Farmer Cookbook. She's widely credited as the inventor of the modern recipe. Before, recipes were just vague recollections and tribal knowledge of how to cook. Fannie brought science to the art of cooking. And that's really what we're about here at Tucker's Test Kitchen. The science and the art and, I need to start cooking. I've been talking for way too long. Okay. There's gotta be something Thanksgiving-y in here, right? Come on. Desserts. You can never have too many desserts, right? Okay, here we go. Cranberry pie. Boom. That kills two birds with one stone. I don't remember if I was put in charge of cranberry or pies, so this does it. This covers all my bases. Let's see, is it possible to make a bread in a reasonable amount of time? Breads, biscuits, muffins, shortcakes, Southern spoon, cornbread. Boom, cornbread. We're doing cornbread. All right, one more thing. Gotta overcompensate. Salmon souffle. Sure, fine. I have these ingredients. Let's do it. Okay, we'll start with the cornbread because I think that takes 40 minutes to make, and time is a factor. This seems like a pretty simple recipe. You might be wondering why I'm using bottled water. First off, it's about 2.5 cups, which is what I need, and B, I'm going to need this later. So my favorite way of separating eggs is just to crack it open, careful not to break the yolk. You're going to take your water bottle, squeeze it, just gently suck up that yolk, let the white break off, and then deposit the yolk. And that's a little bit of a sloppy separation there, but it usually works really well. I'll show it again. And oh yeah, that one came over with basically no whites. There you go. The egg whites have to be beaten until stiff, and the egg yolks have to be just slightly beaten. I don't know if I'd call that stiff, but I'd call that my arm is getting sore. Okay, and in this container, we need to combine the buttermilk and the soda. No, I'm just kidding. The soda, could you imagine? 1.5 cups buttermilk and a teaspoon of soda. I got my 2.5 cups of boiling water here, and I'm just gonna slowly add the cornmeal. The whisk was very obviously the wrong choice for this. Then it says just to let it stand until cool, but I don't have time for that, so I'm gonna go put it outside. There you go. Bye. So while that's cooling down, we're going to start on the salmon souffle. I have to separate and beat 3 more eggs. Even though we're making recipes from 1925, I'm going to use modern technology to beat these. I don't care what you think of me. Back over to cornbread land, because this is cooled down now. I have some melted butter, which I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons. 1.5 teaspoons of salt, but I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to give it our egg yolks. And we really need to get some moisture in here, so let's dump in our buttermilk. One of the deficits of working from the Fannie Farmer cookbook is I have no idea what size pan to use, and I just have to eyeball it. I got the oven set to 420, and we're just going to slide this in here for 40 minutes. So here's my canned salmon, separated in flakes, rinsed, deskinned, and deboned as best I could. No. Then we're going to season it with some paprika, some salt, and some lemon juice, which I forgot to get out. 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. And in this household, we just eyeball the salt. Next, we need to cook 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs and 1/2 cup of milk. So I've been cooking this on low heat for about 5 minutes, the milk and the breadcrumbs. And to that, we're going to add the salmon. And the 3 egg yolks we separated earlier. And the text says to beat this until it's lemon colored, although I'm not seeing if that, I don't think that's ever going to happen, really. Maybe the yolks of yesteryear were more yellow, but I'm calling it homogeneous enough to add the beaten egg whites from earlier as well. And then it says, turn into a buttered dish, set in a pan of hot water, and bake in a moderate oven until firm. A pan of hot water? Hey, there's your pan of hot water. Now I know it says moderate oven, but I really need to get this in here. And also it says until firm, which says to me that this should be an okay thing to do. This is really hard. Look at the cute image it's done for Salmon Souffle. Why is Google being so cute right now? Here's a quick Thanksgiving Tucker tip brought to you by Tucker's Test Kitchen. If you want to impress your family at Thanksgiving, it isn't really about the food. While your friends and family are impressed with delicious food, they know it was all home cooked by someone who is liable to burn water, so expectations shouldn't be unmanageable. Instead, you should dazzle your fellow Thanksgivians with your quick wit and social commentary. Here are some conversation starters guaranteed to generate intelligent conversation at the dinner table. I don't get why people are spending so much money on NFTs. Can't you just right-click and save the artwork? This is delicious. It tastes just like turkey. Here's a question for you. Who's this Brandon kid everyone's talking about? Man, I should visit here more often. Your 5G reception is incredible. My phone doesn't even support 5G. Man, I've always wanted to visit Kenosha. It seems like such a nice and quiet town. I thought Christopher Nolan's Tenet was a cinematic masterpiece. Comment down below if you have any more amazing conversation starters. While those are finishing up in the oven, we're going to start on the cranberry pie, which, I mean, it's going to be super simple. The recipe is a sentence. Not like a life sentence or anything, but like just one sentence. Put ingredients in saucepan in order given and cook 10 minutes, semicolon. Cook and bake in one crust with a rim and strips across the top. Well, I'm not going to mess around with pastries today. I came prepared. So let's add the ingredients in the order given. 1.5 cup cranberries. 1/2 cup of water, and then 3/4 cup sugar. And we're gonna just cook that for 10 minutes.
Your cornbread timer is up.
Ooh! I'm gonna put the crust in the oven for a little bit just to firm it up. While we have a minute, take a look at that cornbread. Looks like cornbread. Although I will admit, I feel like I overcooked it a little bit, and also did not butter this pan. So you can already see a little bit of shrinkage here with this weird pie pan. I think this was designed for cakes and not pies. Yeah, this is 100% a cake pan, not a pie pan. My bad. It's all right, we'll make do. We're gonna dump our pie into the pie. Sure does not seem like a lot. Yeah, okay. So Tucker, when you edit this later, maybe superimpose or do some like blender magic so that this pie doesn't look so god-awful and sad. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Screw you, bud. I tried my hardest.
Did you though?
Fine, whatever. We'll just live with it. That's baking. I don't know how long it's going to take because Fannie doesn't say. So you may have noticed that these recipes, while they may resemble modern recipes, they leave a lot more to the imagination. Sure, the recipes in this edition, printed in 1925, are a little out of date in a myriad of different ways, but that's not really what makes this book useful today. It contains concise passages about the science of cooking. If you actually read the text, it tells you how these recipes work. It not only tells you what ingredients to use, but also why. Now, while the science of nutrition may have evolved, you know what hasn't? Fire. The role of yeast in bread making. How to slice bread for sandwiches. Trust me, if you think recipe websites suck, imagine trying to wade through internet discourse on bread slicing. What I'm trying to say is that this book is still more or less relevant and important today because it's full of fundamental building blocks. Cooking is both a science and an art. In science, you need basic protocols upon which to build more complicated procedures, and in art, you need something to paint with. This is that. There you go. It might look like mashed potatoes. It's not. Okay, so now that everything is made or is in the oven for some indeterminate amount of time, I don't know, I have a confession to make. It is not Thanksgiving morning. I am filming this the Monday before Thanksgiving. There is no potluck that I'm rushing to. It was all just a ruse, a clever, elaborate ruse to talk about the Fannie Farmer cookbook. But hey, at least now we get to taste the magic that has ensued. I hope. In classic test kitchen fashion, I have a LaCroix, this time tangerine, which I believe means that someone thought really hard about a tangerine in the adjacent room while they were bottling this. Comes out really well. So buttering the dish does indeed help. I'm worried about that now. It's a solid piece. It's kind of cakey. It's kind of like a salmon quiche. It's not bad. It's reminiscent of cat food. I probably wouldn't serve this at a Thanksgiving, no matter how drunk I get. But again, it's not, in fact, it's growing on me. It really is, especially the crusty top. That firm top. That's what you look for. I see you, Fannie Farmer. So again, here's the cornbread. Looks very good. I'm gonna grab my butter here. Okay, it didn't come out with too much of a fuss. Yeah, as I expected, the bottom is a little brown, but I mean, it's old-fashioned cornbread. What it needs is some butter. Oh, poop, that's a lot of butter. Oh, baby, it's so much better with butter. Now, of course, modern recipes will probably taste better standalone, a little sweeter maybe. And if you had like something, like a main course to go with it, not just eating this in a vacuum, this is really good. And it was pretty easy to make. You saw how quickly I whipped it up. And now I guess we just have to wait for the pie.
Later.
Here's our really sad cranberry pie. How do I get it out? Yes, that's right. I didn't butter this one either. Here's our pie thing. It's a little thin, but I mean, we knew that going into it. Sweet and tart. It's like cranberry sauce in a pie. This isn't a terrible vehicle for cranberry sauce. I'm usually not the biggest fan of cranberry sauce, but this is like a nice thin layer. It's almost like a Pop-Tart. No, I actually really like this. And again, I just want to reiterate, this recipe was a sentence long. That was a successful experiment, I think, with the exception of this part. I hate saran wrap. So what did we learn today? The recipes in the Fannie Farmer cookbook are kind of hit or miss. The cornbread was amazing, the pie was amazing, the salmon souffle was forgettable. But it's not the recipes that are important. Rather, it is the knowledge and information contained herein about the fundamentals of cooking, the techniques and the science behind it, more or less. Even from a late 1800s, early 1900s viewpoint, it's still a very important book. As with most of my videos, I'm not sure what the point of this was. I just wanted to make a video about the Fannie Farmer cookbook, and now I have. So I'm going to take these things to my made-up Thanksgiving potluck, and hopefully I'll get rave reviews. If not, I always have those conversation starters I can use. Anyway, I'll see you in the next low-effort cooking video. Bye! And now I get to light stuff on fire for the thumbnail. Yay!